New Year. You're listening to Life Insight Live with Scout Bartlett. It's March. It's my birthday month.
A 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you. That's it. That's all you get.
That's a throwback. Yeah, that used to be a steady feature. Yay, me. Happy birthday. Happy birthday last month to Carlos, by the way. Oh, you can play it again for you, Carlos.
Oh, really? I get it too? All right, here we go.
You bet.
A 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you. That's it. That's all you get.
That's all I get as well. Nice.
That's all you get too, dude. Happy birthday last month.
Thank you.
Well, I guess if your birthday was last month and my birthday is until this month, you're older than me, right?
I guess so, yeah.
Isn't that how that works? Something like that.
Let's go with that, yeah.
We'll go with that. Which will come as quite a shock to your parents. Ah, fabulous. It is my birthday month, so I am hoping that, and we're like 7 days in or 9 days in, depending upon whether you hear this broadcast on Monday or Wednesday. I am hoping that you are planning lavish festivities within you and your friend group celebrating my birthday month. We're trying to build it all the way up to where it becomes an international holiday celebrated everywhere. We know it's going to be remarked upon on Antarctica. We're already setting that up. In fact, we're trying to get it set up to where it'll even be acknowledged on the Antarctica Ice radio station. So that part's seriously fun. But it's my birthday month. Celebrate lavishly. And I have 2 favors to ask everybody for my birthday month favors. In exchange, our birthday month broadcasts are all going to be little mini workshop segments. They'll all be teaching segments, so they'll all be tools that you can use in various ways in your life. But my 2 favors first. This is the deal. I'm going to put in the leverage of you got to do a favor for good old Uncle Scout, and then you get your prize. That was horrible. That went all kinds of places in my head that I think I need to stop. 2 favors to ask. The first one being that if you've gotten anything of value from sessions with me, classes that we did back when we were able to do classes, which we're hoping to restart, from the radio shows, of course, or from the LEAP program based on our Life Insights work, we'd love to have your testimonial. That's what I'm asking as a birthday gift. We'd love to have your testimonial. You could call our phone number from the website, 925-6... God, I don't call it very often, do I? 925-676-5189. It's in the website, if I got it wrong. And you could leave it on a voicemail, first name, town you live in, short testimonial. Or you could just record it on Zoom or voice memo or any of those recording things. Meetings, go to meet, whatever. But you could record it and send us the audio-only file, first name, town you live in, what you'd like to say as a testimonial. And we'd love to have that. The second favor for my birthday month, I am touched to the heart by this. Lola of San Francisco, and you can find that just with lolasanfrancisco.com. You all know how to spell Lola, L-O-L-A, sanfrancisco.com, no spaces. Lola of San Francisco is giving me my first public. I've done one other showing, but Lola of San Francisco is giving me my first public gallery showing of my photography, my art. So it's up on the walls, and we'd love to have you go by. It's on Sanchez Street, there we go, in Noe Valley. And would love to have you go by, sign the guest book, and I'd love to hear from you. Email, voicemail, anything that you had, any thoughts you had about it. Pretty scary to me, pretty unnerving to be feeling like I'm risking what I consider to be my art to find out if other people think it is as well, but that's the way we go. My first public gallery showing of my photography, or of some of my photography. I'll tell you, I don't have any 12-foot, 30-foot, 12-foot by 20-foot blow-ups like they had at the Anna Leibovitz exposition, but, it's my art. So I'd love to have you go. So welcome to my birthday month. And thanks for letting me ask you a couple of favors. So this first show of my birthday month, I want to talk about an amazingly simplistic technique that you may well find to be life-changing. Today is dedicated to the joy of timers. The nice part is that whatever mobile electronic instrument you carry, it has timers in it. Carlos and I have matching timers at my home and at the studio so that we can be sort of synchronized when we're recording from two different places. The joy of timers. One of the challenges out there in the world of being a human being with a human brain is that human brains are weird and they do weird crap. And the key part of the whole game turns out to be that a major portion of this game of being human is about recognizing the nearly unconscious or even the unconscious patterns that our brain dances us through and retraining our own brain. There was an ad campaign about a mind is a terrible thing to waste. I would take a small takeoff of that to say that a mind is a terrible thing to leave untrained. Now, the weird side about that is that, and I don't know where this quote came from originally. I'm lifting it from a client who said it to me and cracked me up with it, which was that while it's very true that an unexamined life is a waste, it's equally true that sometimes we just need an unexamined lunch. So I do want to point out that while it's key that we be training our mind, it's equally key that we don't get lost into the psychobabble of analyzing every single thing we do, and in that way get lost from our own authentic expression. We want to keep ourselves aiming toward, the word is authenticity, but let me define that in my terms, because I see it bandied around. There's a number of words that I see bandied around in pop psychology that have either gotten so torqued or lost their meaning. One of which is boundaries, which is a very weird word, because boundaries are supposed to simply mean firm places where we hold firm, but that word has been weaponized, as near as I can tell, in that frequently what people think it means is the point at which we counterattack, or from which we launch attack. In my world, that ain't what that word is about. Guru has obviously lost its place. Shaman has obviously lost its original meaning. And this one is simply keeping track of ourselves and authenticity. My working definition of authenticity is simply this. Authenticity to me is being present where you are with what you're doing so that what you're thinking about, so if you're communicating with authenticity, it becomes that what you're thinking about is the very same thing that you're communicating, as opposed to hitting the button and running a tape like some of the guides I've seen, in amusement parks where they're on the boat or the whatever tour and they're doing the announcements, but they have to make sure that everybody knows that they're a teenager and they're long beyond this and they're bored with it. Hello, welcome aboard. We will now be traveling to, and they're clearly somewhere else entirely just running a tape in their head. In fact, far better if they would have had the person at the front just lip sync it and they'd actually created a well done tape. But anyway. Authenticity has to do with matching up what you're thinking about with what you're doing, involved in, or in particular communicating about. And I've seen the word get sort of torqued into meaning that I've seen it get torqued into people deciding that authenticity means that I blast the people around me with whatever thoughts roll through my mind that are anger and rage. Yeah, well, that would be thinking about the same thing that you're speaking about, but that's not authenticity because you were thinking in anger and rage, and therefore to blast with anger and rage makes you more authentic. Authenticity also includes choosing to be thinking about what it is that you're involved in at the moment and communicating about it with clarity. We've had the opportunity in some of the advanced group gatherings that we've done to do some practices about what I refer to as energetic broadcast. All of us have an energetic broadcast. The vast majority of people respond to that energetic broadcast. There are people who have energetic broadcasts, excuse me, there are people that have energetic broadcasts that are so commanding that when they're in a room, those around them simply come into alignment with it. They match to it. They match to that energetic broadcast. And so that commanding broadcast puts that person in charge of the room. Y'all know people that, well, I've certainly had the experience, and I've seen the experience of a small group of people deciding where to go to dinner, and maybe one person in the group says, let's go to Frankie and Johnny Luigi's too if you're in that neighborhood. And the group keeps talking, Chinese food, and they don't acknowledge it. And then later in the conversation, someone else says, how about Frankie, Johnny, Luigi's too? That's right in this neighborhood. And the whole group stops, freezes, and says, God, that sounds great. I love that restaurant. One person heard, the other not. Timing is obviously part of that, because if you want to be heard, it's handy if you wait for a blank in the conversation, but even more so, it's that energetic broadcast stuff, which, by the way, we can and we do train as human beings. You can train. As Life Insights practitioners, we do train that energetic broadcast. But the key point being is that all of us have an energetic broadcast. If you're talking to someone and their thoughts are actually someplace else, even while they're talking to you, most people will recognize that that's not as compelling and that it kind of goes flat. And so authenticity to me is bringing your focus back so that you're focused on exactly what you're saying while you're saying it, and that's communicating authentically. Now, there are deeper psychological levels of communicating authentically. Also includes intimacy and risking intimacy, as in, borrowed from Stan Dale, I don't know where Stan got it, into me you see. So authenticity in an intimate communication also includes being willing to cop to the little pieces of you that you think are a little too weird or a little too odd, but that are affecting your interaction. Yep. Again, you'll notice I did not say attacking or blasting anyone. It's just being able to cop to those little niggling things that are affecting your communication that you think are embarrassing or too small to mention. Speaking of too small to mention, the clock says it's time for me to break away for us to reintroduce and give you a station ID. We'll also mention our website. So grab a pen or pencil to write it down and stick around, because I got a lot more to say.
On 1450 just for you. San Francisco.
Hi, this is Phil from Palo Alto, California, and I've just left a session with Scout, and I feel absolutely energized, feeling like I can tackle the day.
Yeah! You're listening to Life Insights Live with Scout Bartlett. That's right, you are listening to Life Insights Live with Scout like Pathfinder, Bartlett like Pears, originating from our flagship studios of KEST 1450 AM in San Francisco, syndicated and simulcast around the world on www.ifidknownthen.com. Ifidknownthen.com. Life Insights Live, the radio show, has been recognized as the longest-running major market personal growth radio program in the nation, possibly in the world. A little risky to try and claim in the universe, but we'll go within the world. And we're very proud of that. So we have archived a gazillion, plus or minus 2, episodes up on our website. They're available to you absolutely free, hundreds of hours of teaching about personal development, growth, and metaphysics. You do have to register on the website for some of the older ones, but we don't grab that information. In fact, we ask you to volitionally add yourself to our mailing list. We ask you to volitionally go into YouTube, please, and look up Scout Bartlett. And you'll find the Scout Bartlett YouTube page that has some interesting snips of our workshop, our radio shows. But also look for the First Friday Spirit Talk page. And if you would, just, in fact, gather up your entire outlaw underground embroidery crew, or get your kids to go get their 10 million person international TikTok club. Go in and just click subscribe. We don't care if they listen. Well, we'd like them to listen, but, we just need the numbers. Click subscribe on both of those YouTubes if you would. And also, if you Facebook at all, please go in and like Life Insights Subtext Educational up on Facebook so that we can keep in touch. Now, I know after all that, you've already forgotten our website. So, Carlos, let's give them a big present for my birthday month. Tell them the shortcut that they'll be able to remember that will actually take them into our website.
The shortcut is notscott.com.
That's it, notscott.com. Bring you right into our ifidknownthen.com website. And it's my birthday month. Last month was Carlos's birthday month. You'll notice we didn't mention that nearly as much as mine. It's my birthday month. I highly suggest that you celebrate extravagantly, festively, gather all of your friends, throw huge celebrations, be debaucherous in honor of my birthday. But I'm asking for 2 birthday presents. One, if you would, we'd love to have your endorsement for the show. Well, your endorsement of the work, whether you've gotten good things from the show, from sessions with me, from stuff in classes, from work with other Life Insights trained teachers, and particularly from the LEAP program. We'd love that you can call our phone and put it on our voicemail. You can record it on Zoom or voice memo or whatever, GoToMeet, and just send us the audio file, just your first name, town you live in, and a short statement about what you have to say about the show, about Life Insights or work with me. And we'd love to have that. The other thing we'd ask is, it's my birthday month, and in honor of my birthday month, I risked, and so did Lola. Lola risked giving me my first public gallery showing of my photography, of my photographic art. And so we'd love to have you go take a look at that at Lola of San Francisco. The website is just lolasanfrancisco.com. That'll give you her address on Sanchez Street over in Noe Valley. And we'd love to have you join in and look at that and, sign the guest book and give us your comments. You can even leave your comments as a voicemail. All right, authenticity is where we were. And so there's a key part about authenticity. I mean, not to brag a bit, but heaven knows how many times I've done the intro that we do for our live beam meditation. It's pretty much the same words every time, which I could easily just lock in and plug in the tape and be, thinking of what I want for lunch. But it's got way more power to it when you're present with what you're saying, even if you're saying it for the not the first time. Think about people on stage that have had a run of a show 300 times, and they're still very present with their lines every time they do them. Think about public presenters, public speakers, keynote speakers that have talked the same talk multiple times, and they're very present with what they're doing if they're good at it. Authenticity. So every time I do that intro, even to the live beam meditation, which we'll do at the half-hour point, and we do it every half-hour point, I am there, I am present, I am being in those words. We've had the opportunity in our advanced group to actually do some, call it experimentation and practice demonstration, with energetic broadcast. We would have one individual focused on an experience that was a vivid experience, and everyone else passively available to receive. And then we'd go around the room and pick up and the person's focused on the experience doesn't tell us what it is. We'd go around the room and get all the people what they picked up, and they'd have to be brave and courageous to mention it because sometimes it seems really abstract. But by the time we went around the room, those kinds of art where the artist draws everything but the focus? By the time we went around the room, we would have actually kind of drawn the experience in everything except necessarily naming it. And sometimes we got that close. Just from the energetic broadcast radiating from the person focused on their memory of that experience. And then, we'd give all of our input blind, and then they'd tell us what the experiment was, and then we'd see how it matched up and why we picked up what we picked up. Sometimes it was sort of interestingly abstract connections, but it was there. Just to demonstrate the fact that what we're focused on while we communicate is an additional level of communication. And so if I want authenticity in my communication, I need to be focused on what it is I'm communicating about. So when I teach that live beam meditation, no matter the hundreds of, probably thousands of times that I've done those words, I'm still focused in the experience of and how those words look, shape, and feel while I teach them. With all of the quotes, and I admit sometimes in the radio show it's a full hour of talking. My mind wanders. But I bring it back. That's a practice. So practice number 1 from the Birthday Month Tool Show is practice authenticity. If you want your words, now we've also done experiments in our advanced groups where we have, and it's a difficult thing to do, but where I have focused my thoughts on something entirely different than the story I'm telling at the time, for example. And we got to watch the kind of, cognizant dissonance and contrast that would create and evoke in the people listening. So you can mess with people in that way. It's kind of like saying the word yes while shaking your head no. It's a little tricky, takes some focus, and it throws people into confusion. Authenticity practice, tool number 1 for our birthday month of tools is build your ability to bring your focus to what it is you're talking about. Build your ability to bring your focus to what it is you're doing, if what it is you're doing deserves to have any importance at all. Now, I will admit that one of the ways I wind down in my evenings is it's not unusual for me to have the television on with whatever, something that doesn't demand a lot of my attention, and at the same time be writing emails, surfing the web, whatever I'm doing, goofing off. So not necessarily not writing work emails, but, communicating lightly or goofing off or just, falling into the web while eating. Because by the time I get done with my work days, I've burned enough calories, it's time to eat. All of that going on at once is part of my way of winding down to let myself release that focus that I've carried for a day of sessions. At the same time, that doesn't dissipate that if I'm going to write a work email, I'm likely to turn the sound off on the TV, maybe even turn the TV off altogether if it's something that I need to communicate with depth and focus and authenticity. Even in my sessions, I will pause for a moment when people have aimed me at something or asked me a particular question. I will pause to go make sure I've gathered my focus and that I'm really clear on what it is I want to communicate about what they've asked. Tool number 1 for my birthday month of tools. Build your ability, practice your ability, build your practice to communicate authentically, which would be for the whole month. Last January we did a 21-day challenge. Now it's my birthday month, and we'll do a bit of a challenge that each week we're going to give a tool. So each time that whether you listen in sequence or whether you're listening in the recordings from the website, give yourself a week to practice with that tool, 7 days to practice with that tool, and then go catch the next show. So if you're listening in sequence, if you're listening when we broadcast, you'll practice that week. If you're picking it up from the website, well, then I'm going to toss a gauntlet down at your feet to say I challenge you to, if you caught any of the March programs, go back and start in the March 7th program, 2022, and listen to that tool, listen to this tool, this show, and then do each of them in order and practice the tool for a week. Now, this show on the 7th is a 2-tool day. So tool number 1 is build yourself to practice communicating with authenticity, which is to say, build yourself to practice thinking about and focusing on and experiencing whatever it is you're talking about while you're talking about it, which may actually turn out to make trash talking less fun. It may turn out that you're less interested in trash talking if you're really having to focus and re-experience it while you're trash talking. And I don't know, maybe it'll make it more fun. Maybe it'll feel more complete. But tool number one is build your ability, build and practice using, sorry, I had to make a note to myself so I'd remember, practice using and being focused on what you're communicating about while you're communicating about it. If it's a rant or a rage, try and focus on you in the depths underneath the rage to figure out what you really would want to communicate. What's the essence of what your rage was triggered by, as opposed to just doing the rant or the rage. Because I'll guarantee you, rants and rages, it feels like you're focused in what you're ranting about, but you're not. You're just in the momentum of this old stored rage that's venting itself. We're building focus. Each of these tools is about building focus. So tool number one, for this week, practice being present with what it is you're communicating while you're communicating about it. Now, the next step forward about this authenticity practice is the joy of timers. It turns out that for lots of us, we're not used to, trained, or don't have the ability to bring our focus to what we're doing, as well as bringing our focus to what we're talking about. Bringing our focus to what we're doing, particularly when what it is that we're wanting us to do is a thing that we're wanting us to do. Not necessarily that we're doing it just out of reflex or habit, but it's a thing that we're wanting us to do, or that we're wanting us to get done, whichever direction we want to go with that. And so I want to talk about the joy of timers. But first we're going to break away. At each of these shows, we always break away, as I was mentioning, at the half hour to teach the live beam meditation. It's the meditation practice that I work with. It's one of the fastest I've seen in terms of building or recharging your internal energy batteries. Obviously, it's one of the fastest I've seen because it's the one that I use. Not, I use it because it's one of the fastest ones I've seen, and it happened to channel through me, so it works for me. We're going to meditate together for about 2 minutes and 45 seconds. The first thing that I'll say as we open this will be I'll invite you to close your eyes, and I'll point out that if you're operating a motor vehicle, please don't do that. Keep them open, pay attention, because I can tell you the people around you aren't. As a public service announcement, when we're talking about traffic, I also want to mention that if you're riding a bicycle, you belong on the street, not the sidewalk. It's not the side bike, it's the sidewalk. If you're riding a bicycle, you belong on the street, on the same side with the traffic, and at least giving a glancing acknowledgement to the traffic rules. But not facing traffic, on the same side with traffic. Okay, pedestrians when there's no sidewalk are told to walk facing traffic. Bicycles belong on the same side of the street with traffic. So if you have kids in grade school and their teacher has taught them opposite of that, please have your kid go point that out to the teacher. Send the teacher to my radio show or have them look it up online. Bicycles on the same side of the street. So we have one more tiny piece of information and some insights about you. If your brain just told you that you can't possibly break into your day for 2 minutes and 45 seconds to meditate with us, we've got an update for you about you.
You might be wound up a little bit too tight.
Just a little bit too tight. Fabulous. With that said, I'd invite you, if you're not driving, go ahead and let your eyes go closed. Just light somewhere. Sit yourself down, let your eyes go closed. And just drawing in a long, deep breath till your lungs are full, and let that air flow out again. And as you're ready for another breath, let it be a long, deep breath. And this time imagine that air flowing out through your body, as if your body were layers of silk or fabric. And with each breath, let the air flow in, and let it flow out through your body, feeling your body open and expand. And in your imagination, I'd like you to imagine reaching down to the center of this planet Earth and stirring that warm, rich, dense energy there in the center of the planet, Curl that imaginary hand in a cup and use that cupped hand now to pull a streamer of that warm, rich, dense energy, a surge of that, right up through the planet, directly beneath you, up and into your body, just in front of your tailbone, connecting it there. And just let it feel that same matching warmth. Earth core, all the way up through the earth, it's just energy passing through energy. Into your body at your tailbone, matching that warmth at your tailbone, and now focusing on that streamer, that surge of energy from the earth. Deep inside your body, just in front of your spine, imagine, feel, decide, choose, make it up, that you're drawing that surge of more energy deep inside your body, just in front of your spine, that you're drawing it up through your abdomen, through your chest, through your neck, through your head, out the top of your head, and all the way up and into big energy cloud overhead that I'll just call source. Connecting it into source, and now surge that energy up that beam so that you're flooding energy from the center of the earth right up through your body, deep inside your body, right out the top of your head, up and into, geysering into that source energy cloud, so that we're uplifting, transmuting physical level energy into source. For those of you that are sensitive, source energy will conduct along that beam just like electricity along an extension cord right on through you into earth. Not your job, don't worry about it. But just really surge. In fact, using your will, your imagination, decide it so that you're increasing the amount of energy flooding up that beam through you, geysering into source. And as you do so, you may feel a pressure deep inside you. Just relax against that pressure and allow this increased surge of energy up that energy beam to create a glow from deep inside your body, glowing right out through your body and right out through everything around you. Floors, chairs, walls, ceilings, people, baby ducks, baby rhinos, Scout redeeming newspaper-worthy lotto winnings. Just let that glow right out through you and right out through everything around you, allowing it all to be transparent to you and included in that glow. And if you can, go ahead and stay with that meditation, coming back to that beam again and again and again every time you notice your thoughts have wandered, all the way through to the end of the radio show. If you need to go jump back into those important things you were doing, then now would be the time for you to give your body a big breath. And as you let it out, let it bring your eyes back open and come right on back into the room. Welcome back. All right, timers. Bringing your full focus to what you're doing while you're doing it is an amazing thing. When I want people, when I'm working with clients and when it would be beneficial for them to get some movement into their world, to go recharge their batteries by walking, I'll point out to them that to get a 10-minute walk, all they have to do is, put on gear, shoes, jacket, whatever they need, go out their front door, set a timer, walk away from home for 5 minutes. When the timer goes off, walk home again. But while they're walking, to be focused on things around them, plants, trees, color green, then it becomes a meditation. Now, I've found it, and a lot of clients have found it, remarkably handy if you have things in your world that you notice trigger you into procrastination, or if you have things in your world that you notice trigger you into distraction behaviors. I've had clients comment that their house is never so clean as when they need to write a really big presentation for work or when they need to work on their resume. They'll wander off and clean house instead, which, not a bad thing. Not a bad thing at all. And if the need to thing is actually a need to, here's my suggestion. Use on your phone, or it's even easier to, there's all kinds of lovely digital timers in the world that are pretty inexpensive that you can purchase in the store or up online. Set a timer. Allow yourself to debate what you need, how long you're going to interact. Let's say that you can get you to agree that you're going to work on that resume, or you're going to work on your records, or you're going to gather your files, or whatever. Set a timer for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, not 3 hours. 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, max. Set a timer. And then dive into that need to thing and be doing that and only that till the timer goes off. I used to use timers, and I've used music to build my sense of time for my meditation so that I wouldn't have to wander out of my meditation when I was doing 20-minute, 30-minute meditations. So I wouldn't have to wander out of my meditation to wonder whether or not it was already time that I needed to move on to my next thing in the day or an appointment or whatever. But set a timer. If you're needing to gather records, it's that time of year. If you're needing to gather records, set a timer. For that matter, if you're wanting to clean your kitchen, set a timer. If you're having other need-to things, set a timer. If you're going to go through part of your closet and decide which clothes you haven't worn in a while and that you're going to donate, set a timer. Give yourself, again, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes max. Set a timer, set an auditory timer, so that you can dive into this task, and again, like we were talking about with authenticity, so that you can dive into that task you're doing with your full focus. You'll be amazed when you can dive into task at hand with your full focus. You'll be amazed at how much of you that frees up to do the task at hand. When you're not tracking, oh, do I need to go to the bathroom? Oh, do I need to go take care of this? Oh, should I go be washing dishes? Oh, should I go be doing this? Oh, I need to call them back. Oh, I need to, but I need to. Is it time that I need to? Have I run over? Am I lost? Am I late? Am I late for some other appointment? You'll be amazed at how much of you can bring to bear on this need to, decided to, chosen to do task when you have a timer. It's simple, it's simplistic, and I highly recommend it. Give yourself 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes max. I'm going to work on this for this long, and then pre-decide if if it's a thing that's going to take more than one cycle, pre-decide how long your breaks are going to be. I'm going to do this for 30 minutes, and then I'm going to take a 10-minute break. And then I'm going to come back and set, so then you'll need to set your 30-minute time or your 10-minute timer for your break as well, because then you can fully take your break without wondering about, oh, did I run too long? Have I done it long enough? Blah, 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 blah. Bringing your whole focus to whatever it is you're doing. Now, let me rephrase that, because that's people misinterpret. I once read a thing from, oh my goodness, how have I lost it? Edward Casey, there we go. How the heck did I lose Edward Casey? But I once read a thing that was a quote from Edward Casey, who said that the perfect master is one who can hold their thoughts focused to a single point for, I believe it was 3 minutes. Not 30, not 60, not 17 hours, 3 minutes. Now, I do like to keep score on the fact that 3 minutes is 180 seconds. So if I can hold my thoughts focused to a single focus for 10 seconds, then I'm 1/18th of the way to perfect mastery. Right? So when I'm saying set a timer and hold your thoughts focused, I'm not expecting that you will not have any distracting thoughts. That's the point. As soon as you notice a distracting thought, if you're using a timer, as soon as you notice a distracting thought, you don't need to consider the distracting thought or figure out if you should jump to the distracting thought or figure out if the distracting thought is more important right now. If the timer's still going, as soon as you notice that you've had a distracting thought, you can just toss it aside I'll do that after the timer goes off. I'll focus on that after the timer goes off. I'll think about that after the timer goes off. I'll consider that after the timer goes off. I'm still on my timer. I'm still on my task. Now, it is really funny for me because I do session work, and I have session work booked in my book, with an amount of time available for each session. And for the longest time, I would sort of try and keep track of that against a clock, and that turned out to be a tremendous amount of work, which I figured out once it finally dawned on me to set a timer. I found these lovely little colored timers that you can turn the sound off, and it just flashes a light. A pair of two of them. Carlos and I have matching ones now. But I just can start the timer when the session starts, and then I don't have to think about where am I in the session. I can glance at the timer. I know where I am. I know if it's time to allow a new subject to open or if it's time that we're winding down. Are we still in a place where we can be winding up, or do we need to be winding down to close out, to put everything back neutral before we leave, as it were? Huge difference in my world. I was stunned to find out how much effort it was, because it's funny. I mean, I do the session work, which is pretty miraculous. I pull stuff out of nowhere. The transformation in people and the feedback we get, what I see and what they experience and give feedback about, is way remarkable. And the hardest part of the whole thing, I'd be busy doing these miraculous things, and the hardest part of the whole thing was keeping track of time. And so I set a timer now. I don't have to think about it. But same deal for, and you'll probably need an audio alert then. Obviously, I don't have it suddenly make loud noises in the middle of my sessions, but there's a flashing light to tell me that it's time. You might have that going on. Maybe if you're doing, if you're doing Zoom meetings or whatever meetings with people, set a timer for how long that meeting should go, and you can set it with, again, with the sound turned off. If you need the ones that I've got, let me know. I'll send you a link. But you can turn the sound off and just have it flash, because then if you're in the meeting, you're in the meeting. But then you can notice that, yep, this meeting should have taken 10 minutes. It's been 10 minutes. It's time to wind it down rather than just get lost wandering off in the 3,000 other things that came to people's minds. If you have to write a report, set a timer and write segments. If you have to write an application, set a timer. Do it in segments. Set a timer and let the timer give you the privilege of bringing your full focus to what you're doing, with no part of your mind needing to be off on the side to track whether or not it's time for you to go put out the garbage, whether or not it's time for you to head out for your dentist appointment, whether or not it's time for you to blah, 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 blah. Set a timer and allow that to be an indicator to your own mind to bring your full focus to what you're doing while you're doing it. And to toss aside all of the distraction thoughts, all of the distraction ideas, all of the distraction momentums until your break. And then go take care of those distractions when your timer tells you it's time for you to take a break. Speaking of which, oh my God, this is the first segue I've done in like 6 months that's successful. It is time for us to break away, and give you the station identification. We'll remind you of our website, but stick around. I got more to say.
Just for you.
San Francisco.
Hi, I'm Tara, calling in from San Luis Obispo. I want to say thank you, Scout, for your healing classes and personal empowerment classes. They have changed my life. Because of them, I have many tools in my spiritual toolkit. Because of them, I am a formidable warrior of love. Thank you, Scout.
Yeah. You're listening to Life Insights Live with Scout Bartlett. That's right, you are listening to Life Insights Live with Scout like Pathfinder, Bartlett like Pears, originating from our flagship studios of KEST 1450 AM in San Francisco, syndicated simulcast around the world on www.ifidknownthen.com, www.ifidknownthen.com. Life Insights Live, the radio show, has been recognized as the longest-running major market personal growth radio program in the nation. We're pretty darn proud of that. So we have archived a gazillion, well, plus or minus 2 episodes up on our website that you're welcome to go in, listen to, download. You can fill up your phone with them. There's a player, but you can download them and fill up your phone or other stuff. You get hours and hours and hours of personal growth, metaphysical, and self-understanding. We do, some of them you have to register for the website to get to the older ones. That's just to stop the people with the .ru email addresses that think that their joy in life is crashing other people's websites. Well, not stop, but slow them down. So I will tell you that we don't gather, sell, and steal or monetize that information when you register. In fact, we ask you and need you, if you want to be on the mailing list, to volitionally add yourself to the mailing list separately from that. So register for the website, add yourself to the mailing list. Please also go into YouTube, look up Scout Bartlett on YouTube, and please, if you would, go click subscribe on the Scout Bartlett page and on the First Friday Spirit Talk page that I do with Ginny and Christopher. In fact, gather up your entire Outlaw Underground embroidery squad and get them all together to go in. I don't care if they well, I'd like it if they'd listen, but, just go to go click subscribe. In fact, if you got kids that have a $2 million TikTok follow, 2 million person TikTok following, see if they can't get their whole following to go in and click subscribe. We need the number numbers, and it would just be fun to watch that happen. Phew. And I know you've already forgotten the website, ifidknownthen.com. I know how brains work. Your brain already said, it was something really familiar, I'll remember that. And yeah, you don't. So we've created a memorable shortcut. In fact, I dare you to try and forget this shortcut once Carlos tells it to you.
The shortcut is notscott.com.
There you go. I dare you. Try to forget notscott.com. Whew. Oh, birthday tools. I want to remind you it's my birthday month.
A 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. That's it. That's all you get.
Thanks, Carlos. Oh man, I don't know. That was a segment in the show that's been several years since when we changed broadcast times. That was a great one. That's a throwback. Happy birthday to me. It's my birthday month, and so I will tell you that all 4 shows in the birthday month will be specifically little mini workshops of tools. So do them in order. In fact, we're tossing out a challenge for you to do them in order. So this is the first of the birthday month shows, March 7, 2022. And so for a week, we're challenging you to practice authenticity. 1, practice authenticity in terms of being present in whatever it is you're communicating with whomever you're communicating, so that you are present in it and you are focused in it, and that's what you're thinking about while you're communicating it, even if it's something you've communicated 200 times before. Welcome, everybody. Please step forward to the white line. We will invite you in, whatever. Be there, be present with it. But also authenticity, we're introducing you to the idea of the joy of timers. Take a week and practice this. Try it out. Everything that's a need to do or going to do or want to do, set a timer, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Set a timer so that while the timer's running, every distracting thought that would have you jump up and go do something else. While the timer's running, every distracting thought that would have you jump and take your focus to something else, I need to do dishes, or put something in to eat, or decide what to eat, or think about what to eat, or I need to call Fred, or I need to call a plumber, or. Well, if it's a plumbing emergency, call the plumber. But all of the distracting thoughts, I need to do this other project. This other project is due. I need to go see if I got an email back from Jane. Set a timer. Even if what you're going to be doing is looking at emails, or if you're taking a break from your work for a minute to go fall into the web for just to take a break, set a timer. Set an audible timer so that while the timer's running, when you notice any distracting thought, you immediately set it aside. I'll take care of that, or I'll think about that, or I'll focus about that after the timer goes off, so that you can bring that authenticity to whatever it is that you're doing as well. Now, I will tell you that after about a month and a half of practicing with that, you'll have a pretty good 10-minute or 20-minute timer in your head, and you'll be able to recognize that when you're doing something, it goes faster, easier, and better if you bring your full focus to it. But for small periods of time, not set a timer for 6 hours, I'm going to work on my work project. Set a timer for a max of 30 minutes. Then when the timer goes off, reset a new timer for however long a break you're going to take before you go to your next thing, or before you go back to that thing. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever your break is. 30 minutes if you're generous. Let's say I'll do 10 minutes of work project and a 30-minute break. Yeah, that sounds about right. Set a timer. In fact, if you're I recommend, I've got these cute little inexpensive timers that you can turn off the noise and it just flashes a light. I would recommend that if you're doing Zoom meetings or GoToMeeting or whatever meeting product you're using, I don't mean to pick a particular brand. It's just Zoom has become the Kleenex of the industry. Set the timer with the flashing light for how long you think the meeting will be productive, and then keep the meeting on focus for that long, and then be willing to close yourself out of it when your timer goes off before it just wanders off into that time burn that is, meetings that are unguided. Had a client that I worked with that was a meeting facilitator in a large organization. together we developed what we called the B meetings. And the B meetings were be bold, be brave, be brief, be gone. 4 B meetings. And that was the whole point. Keep it on task, keep it on track, get the ideas out, get the ideas moved through, and move on and be gone. Set a timer. Even if you're going to hand wash dishes or load the dishwasher, what the heck? That's got its own timer if you'll do it till it's done, unless you're in a really tightly scheduled day and you're just popping in a 10-minute break from everything else you're doing to at least get some of the dishes washed or dishes loaded. Set a timer. In some cases, if you're going to call and chat with friends in the middle of a busy day, set a timer so that you don't get lost in it. If you're going to go take a break and go down the rabbit hole of Internet, set a timer so that you don't get lost in there forever. But particularly with your must-dos, need-to-dos, set a timer. I will tell you that my first gallery showing at Lola of San Francisco, or her website's just lolasanfrancisco.com, it was sort of unnerving and scary for me. So when I needed to go do the editing and get some of the larger prints ordered that, to replace some that I've sold, I would find myself not doing it. I finally had to set a timer and sit in front of the computer and specifically go find those photograph files that I wanted to print, go edit them the way I wanted them edited, go crop them the way I wanted them cropped, and get them ordered from the large print place so that I would have them. I had to set a timer to get me to sit myself down and just be doing that for that amount of time. And you're going to find it's kind of funny because, again, we're recommending play with these for a week. Playing with the timer, you're going to be amazed to find out in the midst of a project that you want done. In the midst of a project that you want done, you'll be amazed at how frequently your mind is going to want you to jump up and go run off and do some other thing right now. Your mind is going to want you to just jump up and go run off and do some other thing that it's going to tell you it needs taken care of now. As long as the timer's still running, you're then able to have that thought, pass it through, let it go. It makes your whole day a meditation in that you can notice that I'm going to be focused on the thing that I'm doing while I'm doing it. And I'm going to use the timer as a backup for that so that there's some of them where you can actually clip them to your shirt so you'll know about them. But it becomes an authenticity practice of I'm doing what I'm doing till the timer goes off. I have one other small tip, which is I noticed in my life I used to be late to things a lot. I'm not perfect on that one yet, but I used to be late to things a lot. And so I'm going to offer this tip of how I changed that around hugely. When I note someplace I'm going to go that has an arrival time to it, even if it's meeting up with friends, I make a note of the necessary departure time that would allow for traffic and allow for traffic surprises and still get me there on time. So that instead of focused on the arrival time, I'm focused on the departure time with the same urgency I used to have about the arrival time. This week, practice authenticity. If you're communicating with another person, be present, be thinking about the thing you're communicating about while you're communicating it. Practice authenticity with yourself and your projects. Set a timer so that when you notice your distractions want you to jump up from your project, the timer will be able to say, nope, timer hasn't gone off yet. This is my project till the timer goes off. It'll build your focus and your strength. Asking you again, go into YouTube, look for Scout Bartlett, and go ahead and subscribe to the Scout Bartlett page, but also to the First Friday Spirit Talk page. And 2 more favors I want to ask you. Oh, we'd love to have your endorsements recorded. Just record them, send them to us in email, or you can record them on our voicemail. Treat yourself as a loved one you truly are, and notice no matter where on earth you are, it's a perfect day to have a great day on purpose.
Hi, this is Rudy from Campbell, and I just wanted to say thank you to Scout for all that he's done with his Life Insights work. I've had the privilege of working with Scout since, I think it was 2008 when I was introduced to the Life Insights work. And it's just been amazing stuff, and I'm very grateful to know Scout and to be a part of the Life Insights family. Thank you, Scout.
Thank you, Rudy. Sweet. And again, it's my birthday month, and I'm asking two things. One, if you've got any endorsement you'd like to say about the radio show, working with me individually, studies you've done from classwork we've done, or the LEAP program, we'd love to have you give us a call. You can put it on voicemail on our phone number. It's in the website. You can record it up on Zoom or GoToMeet or voice memo, and then just send us the audio-only file, your first name, town you live in, and what you have to say about it. Thanks. We'd love to have that. Just so, if you thought the work was good, it's handy for other people to know that you think so too, and not just me. And then my second birthday favor, I'm having my first public gallery showing at Lola of San Francisco. You can find her website, lolasanfrancisco.com. It's my first public gallery showing of my photographic art. I'd love it if you'd go drop by and sign the guest book. And say, hey, Lola, of course, obviously. We love her. And do me two more favors. Treat yourself as a loved one, because you truly are, and just recognize no matter where on earth you are, it's a perfect day, even in Antarctica, to have a great day on purpose.